No, tariffs don't actually boost innovation, they kill it. Everyone says protection helps local industries grow, but what we'll see in this episode is how research actually dies in isolation and thrives in multinational partnerships. That's the world we live in. So in this episode of InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles, I'll show you why technology transfer works best across borders, why research works best across all kinds of borders. Then you'll hear from Alissa Zaccaria. I'm sorry, Alissa, I never know how to pronounce it. She'll tell us all about the Intellimex's great tech transfer success story. This actually redefines what's possible in advanced manufacturing in Europe, and it takes place in Bergamo, Italy. And it's a great talk. You shouldn't miss it. And then we'll unpack EU call 220 million to fund clean mobility. Something to be aware of, especially if you have the right international partnership. So I hope you enjoy the episode. See you soon. So, do tariffs protect domestic innovation or any other trade barrier? Deglobalization, does it protect domestic innovation? If that was the case, Albania during the Cold War would have been a really great success because under Enver Hoxha, I think, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but in his time, Albania pursued autarky, what economists call autarky, which basically means they tried to be completely self-sufficient. So they cut ties, trade ties with basically everyone, not just the capitalist countries, those were the enemy, right? But also with the USSR, with China. Imports were demonized and borders were sealed. So what was the result? Did they have the golden age of local innovation? Not really. Actually, stagnation. Actually, technology was completely obsolete, decades behind, and they were just, even compared to the communist countries, they were way behind. So why do people continue with this illusion that autarky can somehow protect from foreign competitors and thus create a safe space and local companies will rush to innovate and create new products? This sounds logical. They are now protected from competitors so they can create new products with trust. Not really. After all, fewer competitors means why invest in research? Why invest in innovation? Why try to bring new products? Competition brings innovation, not the other way around. So that could have worked eventually in a time when research was local. Well, we could say this a different way. Not even when research was local did that work. Nowadays, when innovation flourishes basically through collaboration across borders, that area is completely gone. So today, research is born from collaboration, not in silos and not in tariff-protected cages. Examples, a vaccine breakthrough in Germany might rely on a French biotech startup, or a Spanish clinical trial, or a Swedish data platform, or a green mobility project might need Portuguese battery innovation for success, but also Polish vehicle integration, Italian grid intelligence. Innovation depends on global supply chains, on multinational teams. Innovation depends on real-time cross-border flows of knowledge, of data, and capital. Tariffs, they do the opposite. So they don't protect innovation, they interrupt innovation, actually. Here's what tariffs actually do. Not just tariffs, any trade barrier. They block access to key technologies or components, and that cuts the innovation. They erode trust between potential research partners. They make projects more expensive, slower, less scalable. So in a world where progress relies on speed and openness, protectionism creates dead ends, not breakthroughs. It's exactly the opposite, because nowadays what fuels innovation is not nationalism, it's not isolation, it's networks. Innovation thrives in distributed labs, in digital platforms, in public-private ecosystems. So EU programs require cross-border cooperation. It's a good thing they do. It's exactly why the EU rewards projects that go beyond borders. Because the future won't be built by the most protected, but by the most connected. That's the new world. And it's a good thing that the EU research programs include more and more non-EU countries like Canada, well, countries from Asia, America, Africa, and Europe, non-EU Europe. Because this way you can build a cross-border fundable innovation-driven partnership and do it the smart way with results in a network. So this is the new world, not the protection world. That's 20th century, or no, maybe before that.
What Alissa's story really shows us is this. Success in innovation today doesn't come from isolation. It comes from smart partnerships, strong narratives, and clear fundable proposals. But here's the catch. So, what if your idea is great, but your proposal just doesn't land? Most rejections don't happen because your project lacks impact. They happen because your draft fails to speak to what evaluators actually score. You're stuck with tight deadlines, conflicting feedback from partners, zero idea if you're hitting the criteria or missing the mark. Sound familiar? But that's exactly why I built SmartProposalAI. It's a GPT-powered evaluator that reads your draft like a reviewer and tells you what to fix. And this month only, I'm offering a free trial. Here's how it works. You send me your draft proposal as a PDF, I run it through SmartProposalAI, and then I send you a detailed, annotated PDF with strengths, gaps, and clear suggestions, all confidential. If you want an NDA signed, I'll sign it. No problem. This tool is built on real evaluator criteria from Horizon, Erasmus+, CEF, and more. It's trained on what reviewers actually look for and what separates funded from failed. Clients have used it to revise rejected proposals, align their ideas with the scoring system, submit with 10 times more confidence. Now you can try it for free. No form, no funnel, just send me your draft. Details are in the show notes. Offer ends May 31st. You've got the idea, you've got the partners. Don't let the proposal be your weakest link.
So welcome back to InnovEU. This week we have with us Alissa Zaccaria. She promised she would tell us all about IntelliMech, but before you do that, can you please tell us a little bit who is Alissa Zaccaria? You are in Bergamo, Italy. Why? Why are you there and what do you do?
Well, I was born in Bergamo. I have lived in Italy for all my life, mainly. I have only lived abroad for a short period during the PhD. My background is actually in the biomedical field, so I'm a biomechanic engineer, and I've been working for IntelliMech for the last 4 or 5 years, supporting the funding of EU projects and collaborations.
So I hear, for what I hear, IntelliMech is very strong on innovation and on the use of EU-funded projects. And you are based in Kilometro Rosso. Please tell us a little bit about IntelliMech.
Yes, well, Kilometro Rosso is an innovation district close to Bergamo. And we as IntelliMech, we are a private research consortium. We are located inside the Kilometro Rosso, and the Kilometro Rosso is actually also one of our partners. We involve now more than 70 companies in the area, mainly in Bergamo, but also Brescia, Milano, and so in the Lombardy region, but also a few more companies in the north of Italy. And yes, let's say that our main objective is to share the efforts needed to perform the test before invest phase. So we used to support our companies during this preliminary investigation of new technologies. And when they are really convinced in developing the technologies for their facilities, for their business, we support them in participating to funding if they need it, or in finding the proper collaborations and ecosystem to pursue their objectives.
Okay. What are the main sectors of activity? Maybe I think you have some presentations, some slides to use.
Yes, I can share my screen. Maybe. Can you see it?
It's on the way. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So our companies are, I would say that most of them are a discrete manufacturer, both in the electrical and in the mechanical sector, but we have also companies dedicated to construction and also companies more focused on the digital services or also business services. They are both large and small enterprises. Let's say that IntelliMech may be useful for small enterprises as they usually do not have the right resources to perform this kind of researches internally. But it's also useful to large enterprises if we think that to really improve our processes, our internal products, we need to enhance the whole supply chain, not only our internal activities.
Let me interrupt to say
Yeah,
to tell our listeners in Spotify or Apple Podcasts that you are showing a slide with a huge panel of companies, and if they are interested in knowing more about those companies, well, they can go to YouTube or Substack and check the video. Please go on.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, indeed, they are now more than 70 companies. We are now more than 20 employees. And as I said before, they are actually located maybe in the north of Europe, while we as IntelliMech, we are located in this innovation district in Bergamo, Kilometro Rosso. It's a very nice place. If you want to come and visit us, we are always open.
I will.
And yes, our mission is basically to connect these companies with the opportunities related with the new technologies. So to fill the gap between the research, the academic research, and the market. So we used to position ourselves in middle tier Ls between 4 and 7, more or less. And I would say that our activities are mainly dedicated to monitoring of the innovation trends, to promoting best practices, sharing and contamination among our companies, and of course also to develop some concrete projects, but always at middle tier L, without reaching the commercial level.
You leave that phase for the individual companies.
Yeah, indeed. We can support them in finding the proper collaborators, but yes, our main focus is the test before invest.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Test before invest is a good motto. Go on.
Yes. So just to briefly describe our journey, let's say, how we used to build this in practice. We start from the identification of the technology trends. So we start from the identification of the thematic area that we want to study, to investigate. And these thematic areas are proposed by our universities. So professors from universities mainly, by the industries themselves, or also by IntelliMech researchers and these initiatives involving the young resources of our companies, which is IntelliMech Next, which involves all the researchers from the industries under 35 years old. And so we collect all these thematics and we present these thematics in an event that we have each year. And it's called Industrial Advisory Board. In this event, the companies can indicate which thematic is most of interesting for them. and how they see this thematic implemented in their company. So once we have identified the best thematics, we started implementing these shared research activities or cluster activities when we don't involve all the IntelliMech partners, but only a small consortia of our members. And then we present the results during the year in monthly events, where we can discuss the results, we can gather more interest from the companies, and we can understand if this technology is actually of interest for them, or if they understood that, okay, it's interesting, but we cannot develop it at the moment. And if they want to develop it, so if they want to really apply this technology in their business, we support them with competitive projects, so we can develop something internally, or we can connect them with the proper technology provider, or we can support them in identifying the right funding opportunities if they need some economical support. So just to wrap up our internal projects, we have the shared projects, which involves all the IntelliMech partners, and all the IntelliMech partners can participate simply paying a small fee each year. We have this fee now, it's below 10K per year, so it's a very small fee. And all the partners have the same rights, to vote, to decide the thematic, and the same rights on the results of these projects. Then we have these clusters of projects, which involve a smaller cluster of our companies, and they require a bit higher budget to participate. And they used to be pursued over a longer period. So if shared projects are usually within the year, cluster projects may involve also 3 or 4 years of development. Then we have these individual projects for companies which know which kind of technologies they want to develop. And these are competitive projects if they have the economic resources to pay on their own, or funded projects if they are interested in a technology but they cannot afford it economically. So concerning the shared research projects, these are our main business pillars, actually. As I was saying to you, they are shared among all the partners, and they used to be concretized in round tables, technology scouting, or development of use cases. In this case, we use the data from the companies, or development of demonstrators, which are usually built in public laboratories or deductive factories. And yes, on the slide, you can see the preferences of the last year, which are mainly on artificial intelligence, performance optimization, and augmented reality. So as I was saying before, the results of these shared projects are illustrated in monthly events, which are called Pomeriggio IntelliMech. And these monthly events are held in our company's facility. So we used to combine the presentation of the results with the visit to the facilities of our companies to promote best practices sharing and to ensure contamination among our members.
Those are somehow some sort of accountability monthly meetings where you also take the opportunity to try to provoke contamination among...
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yes, sure. And yes, to this meeting, usually only senior researchers from the companies used to participate. So also to promote the engagement of junior resources, we have a dedicated event, IntelliMech Next. In this event, only resources under 35 years old can participate. And they used to discuss technologies, to discuss challenges, and the outcomes of these meetings are proposed to our technical and scientific committee as to define the thematic area for the shared projects. So this is also a nice initiative that we have recently started to involve junior resources. Yes, then I was saying that we used to develop the shared research projects with our researchers, with our universities, local universities, but we have also some internal skills that we use to develop some competitive projects dedicated to individual entities. And these internal skills are on artificial intelligence, ICT, robotics, and extended reality. I have collected a brief presentation of some of our use cases, just to give an idea.
Okay.
And concerning artificial intelligence, for instance, we have developed for ABV predictive maintenance algorithms, or we have also collaborated a lot with Tenacta for quality control on the identification of welding defects. Then, for instance, concerning ICT, we are now collaborating with SDF to improve, to digitalize the quality process. And we have worked, for instance, with ITEMA to build a remote monitoring system. Concerning extended reality, I have reported here successful case from funded research projects. This was a project, an experiment conducted in the framework of Shop for CEF. We participated with elettrocabellaggi in one of the open call of Shop for CEF, and we have developed this augmented reality tool to support the operators during the assembly procedure. Also with connection to the IoT data, to the field data, thanks to this FIWARE framework. And instead, concerning robotics, I wanted to introduce this public-private partnership that we have started. This is a nice cluster project that we have developed. So as I said, the cluster projects are the projects involving a small consortium of our member. In this case, it was a consortium of 9 companies. These companies paid a bit more than the annual fee. Well, not a bit, paid something more than the annual fee to propose use cases to this laboratory. And these use cases were developed in collaboration with the Italian Institute of Technology. Now, they not only proposes only use cases, but they also brought their employees in this laboratory. So they also introduce one employee in the laboratory so that this resource could develop the use case together with the researchers from the Italian Institute of Technology. And in this way, they could bring inside the company not only the use case, but also the competencies to develop the use case. So yes, we mainly worked on a flexible robotic workstation, robotic assistant, on avatars, so on teleoperation and logistics 4.0. These use cases were developed in the last 4 years, but we have now started the new round, so the second iteration of this cluster project. And concerning this kind of public-private partnership, we are now also working on a new partnership with the University of Calabria to develop a similar initiative in artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Yes, and in the end, I wanted just to talk about our communication team. They not only organize monthly events and events for young people and dissemination in our network, they also promote this journal, this industrial journal, which is published each 6 months with no advertising, but only focused on industrial discussions, on events, debates, and disseminate project outcomes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
you came to the end, okay.
Yes, it's the answer. Tell me.
I don't need to interrupt you, but thank you for telling us all about IntelliMech. I'm pretty much impressed. I am sure our audience too. Let me ask you a question that may be of interest to our audience. In many of those slides, there was the logo, the EU logo, showing that there was EU projects funding EU programs funding those projects. So you are open to collaboration with other European institutions because those projects require partnerships. So you will be open to analyze collaborations that someone in our audience may want to get in touch with you.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we as Intellimec have a very clear view on the needs of our industries. So we used to participate to this kind of collaborations and initiatives, bringing use cases, bringing pilots and demonstrative scenarios. So for sure, if anyone has an interesting idea which they think it could be interested to apply in an industrial scenario, we usually are able to provide a good industrial scenario to test it.
For what I could see, you'll be open to collaborate in many different sectors, but almost all of them in industrial scenarios, like you just saying. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean, most of our industries are dedicated to discrete manufacturing. So discrete manufacturing is actually our main business area. But we have a significant cluster also of companies dedicated to construction.
Okay.
So, for instance, construction is another topic, hot topic for us. And yes, we have also some technology providers. So actually, we can also collaborate with thematic focused on AI, ICT, robotics, and augmented reality, also metaverse. In this thematic, we have also some industries which could participate as technology providers.
Okay. So that somehow sets the answer for my next question. What are your plans for the future? What do you want to do?
Yeah, as I said before, we are super proud of our public-private partnership, and we are now starting this new iteration on artificial intelligence. So yes, we wanted to boost this collaboration between the public sector, the academic research, and the industries. We wanted to support the technology transfer as much as we can. And yes, and in this, to do this, we are also very convinced that the people are important. And so involving human resources, training human resources is crucial. And this is why we are also boosting this kind of laboratories where humans, where people can connect and collaborate and sharing knowledge. And yes.
You said that you are proud of this private-public collaboration, and I think you should be proud. I think it's great. Let me say this as a professor in entrepreneurship. For many years, I've been talking about this technology transfer and this phenomena, but I don't know many as good examples as you've proven with Intellimec. So thank you for this interview. I don't know. Do you have a final message you want to close with? Do you have any final idea?
I mean, I can renovate the invitation to come and visit us in Bergamo, in Kilometro Rosso.
Please, before you continue, please stop sharing the screen so that we can see your invitation personally.
Is
It
it
doesn't work?
stop now? No.
Oh, I ruined it.
No way. Okay, maybe. No.
It doesn't want
maybe now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
great,
yes.
Great. So, the contacts that were in your last slide, can I put them in the podcast notes?
Yes, please.
So, what's your final message, please?
So I can renovate the invitation to come and visit us in Bergamo at Kilometro Rosso. We would be more than happy to welcome you. And yes, if you have any technologies you want to share with us to test in industrial scenarios, we are more than happy to collaborate and to discuss about it. Or if you want to establish similar initiatives with as we are doing now in Bergamo and in Lombardy, we are more than happy also to discuss how we perform our networking activity, how we ensure that these collaborations are effective.
Please forgive me, I have to ask you one final question,
Yeah.
which is this. We've been for decades listening to people complain about how Europe was basically losing industry. How do you say that in English? I don't remember. Are you optimistic about the future of industries in Europe? Is there a place for an European industry, or are we too expensive? What do you think about that?
Yes, it's a tricky question. I mean, I'm also lucky because we are also lucky because actually we live in very industrialized region, which yes, of course, has suffered the crisis, but the industries are keep going. Let's say they are resilient and they are renovating themselves. They have the strength to keep renovating and keep their competitiveness on the market. I think that collaboration is key in this case to keep competitiveness, to keep our industries growing. I think that opening to the whole supply chain, opening to the whole ecosystem is necessary. But if we actually can achieve this kind of openness, can achieve this kind of collaboration, I think that we can maintain our industrial strength.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alissa, for this interview, for your time. And I hope to see you soon. Your contacts will be in the podcast notes. So see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So you're thinking of funding a next-gen transport project in Europe? This is the call that could cover 50 to 70% of your costs. This is not another info session. This is a transformation strategy for project leaders ready to make bold moves in green mobility. In this short video, you'll discover how to tap into 220 million euros in EU funds, what kind of projects actually get funded, and how to build an eligible fundable proposal fast. This is the CEF2, Transport, Alternative Fuels Infrastructure Facility Cohesion Envelope, specifically the costs topic. It's aimed at scaling electric and hydrogen refueling infrastructure for road, rail, water, air and urban transport in countries eligible under the Cohesion Fund. This call supports high-impact projects that align with the AFIR and 10T regulations, advancing the EU's climate-neutral transport goals. Electric recharging infrastructure, high-power 1 megawatt or more stations for heavy-duty vehicles on the 10T network, charging for public transport fleets like buses and depots, power supply for inland waterway and maritime ports, electrification of airport operations, hydrogen refueling stations, HRS, for road vehicles, buses, ports, rail and airports, must supply hydrogen at 350 and/or 700 bar. Each HRS must supply a minimum of 1 ton per day ammonia and methanol bunkering for vessels in 10T maritime and inland ports. Grants of up to 10 million euros per bunkering barge. Bonus! Up to 20% of your budget can go to on-site renewable energy production, battery storage or hydrogen production if aligned with rules. Legal entities, whether public or private, from countries eligible under the Cohesion Fund can apply. International organizations and entities without legal personality can also apply, but under certain conditions. However, natural persons, EU institutions, or entities under EU sanctions are not allowed to participate. This is not a collaborative call, so no consortium is required. But projects must secure at least 10% of financing from an implementing partner or financial institution. Additionally, they must be located in or within range of the 10T network. The total budget available is €220 million. The funding rate can cover up to 50% of eligible costs and up to 70% in EU outermost regions. The minimum grant request is €1 million per proposal. Cut-off deadlines are as follows: 24th September 2024, 11th of June 2025, and 4th March 2026. All deadlines close at 1700 hours CET, Brussels time. Projects must be completed within 39 months of the cut-off date. First, you need to register in the EU Funding and Tenders portal. Then, prepare application Form A online and Form B, which includes your project details. Don't forget to upload the required annexes, your budget, Gantt chart, member state support, environmental file, and financial approval letter. Finally, make sure to submit everything before the deadline via the portal. Remember, only complete applications will be considered. You can use the EU portal submission system to apply. The dominant narrative says only big consortia and experienced players win transport calls. We say wrong mindset. You don't need a large consortium. You need a clear plan, a strategic partnership with a bank, and alignment with the 10T goals. This call rewards catalytic effect, urgency, and impact, not size. Use the EU Proposal Excellence scorecard to self-assess before submitting. Match your infrastructure plans to 10T map eligibility. Align with AFR standards and show how your project meets climate goals. Don't just meet criteria. Tell a compelling story about impact and urgency. Download our EU Call Alignment Checklist. Use the Proposal Readiness Mini Assessment. Try the Proposal Reviewer GPT for instant feedback. Or get support through our EU funding fast-track coaching. All at fernandogaspar.substack.com/podcast. This call isn't just about infrastructure, it's about transforming European transport and your opportunity to lead that change. Apply before September 24th. Start by scoring your proposal. For more details, visit the EU Funding and Tenders portal.
InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles, is a weekly video podcast. Please subscribe to the Polixdocs newsletter to receive every podcast episode. And if you like receiving it, please press like in whatever platform you are watching or listening. Also, please share InnovEU and Polixdocs with anyone you feel will enjoy it. Credits, author and host Fernando C. Gaspar, music Hugo Gaspar, Lisbon, Portugal, 2024. Reach us by email or DM.